The land explored by our ancestors extends from Altai to the White Sea. The scientific expedition, Trails of Nomads, continues to unveil the path of our forefathers. Its leader is a true citizen of the world. He believes, without a deep understanding of the past, there is no future. Each journey is focused on a detailed study of history and culture. Pilgrim of the 21st century, Zaparis Kakov, with a team of scientists, has already visited more than 50 countries. Scientists reveal the exciting secrets of the past. Watch an amazing story of a great journey in the Trails of Nomads program. The Karkaraly region is unique and beautiful. Local legends speak of the sacred bird Karkara, which means crane. The main feature of the region is places full of secrets. And the mountains are as beautiful as an elegant pointed female headdress, which, by the way, is made from feathers of the same crane, and it is also called Karkara. Therefore, the name Karkarali appeared because of the peaked mountains that look like a woman's hat, Karkara. The Boguli settlement located in these places is a guide to the ancient history of Kazakhstan.
Археологтарды қазба жұмыстары жасаған уақытында тапқан мынау артефактларға қараған уақытында
Archaeologists found traces of the most ancient settlements of primitive people on this land. In the vicinity of Karkarali, traces of dinosaurs and their bones were also found.
тұрған адамдардың тұрақтары бар. Одан қатар динозаврлардың уақытында болған жерлер бар. Олардың сүйектері бар.
The sacred Karkarali mountains are the first site of primitive people. The Three Caves complex keeps evidence. It is located 3 kilometers from the city of Karkarali in the picturesque tract, Maliksai, in caves with a total area of approximately 40 square meters, tools of labor of ancient people, stone scrapers, as well as bones of domestic animals were found. These artifacts can correspond to the New Stone and Bronze Ages, scientists believe. The historical site is under state protection. However, some people leave inscriptions on the stones, which, of course, is very upsetting. There are a lot of sacred places in Karkarali. One of these places is the Three Caves complex. People come there especially to look at this unique monument of antiquity. Various stone tools were found at the settlement of primitive people. With the help of scrapers, they butchered and skinned the animals. These priceless artifacts of the ancient civilization are kept in the Karkarali Museum of Local History. In addition, other objects of ancestors were found near the Sugbulak Spring. This historical site is located in the suburb of Karkarali. In a Bronze Age settlement, the first archaeological excavations were carried out in 1955 and 1962. The expedition led by academician Alkay Margulan discovered 2 ancient dwellings, tools made of stone and bones, jewelry, pottery, and animal bones. In addition, iron alloys were discovered for the first time. They date back to 1st millennia BC. This encouraged scientists to assume that central Kazakhstan stood at the origins of metal production. Looking at the technology of housing construction, we can say that the architectural art of the ancestors was at a high level. During the excavations of archaeologists under the leadership of Margulan, the houses made of wood were found. They were of 2 kinds. The first one was on the ground and made of logs. The second type was half underground. That is, people specially dug a ditch to the depth of half of the house and put it there. According to Kazakh scientists, the ancient people have lived in this region, processed iron and gold. They were good masters of this craft. Artifacts found during archaeological excavations in the Taldi burial ground speak of this. In 2010, near the village of Kasim Amanjolov, scientists from the Alkay Margulan Institute of Archaeology, under the leadership of historian archaeologist Arman Beysenov, discovered a human burial with gold objects. Despite the fact that the burial ground was once plundered a long time ago, many items have survived to this day.
мына өндіріс болды, әсіресе.
There was a large production at one time, especially for the smelting of gold and copper. Therefore, these handmade jewelry were of very high quality, very beautiful.
Әшекейлер өте жоғары өзінің эстетикалық дәрежесінде болды.
Products with an image of animals, including lion, a dragon, a fairy horse, are very similar to the animal style of the Saka era. Scientists also believe that the people buried here belong to the aristocratic circle. At the same time, after a comparison with other Saka burials, a great similarity with them was revealed. In particular, these are the Altai monuments Arjan and Shilikti. Hence, we can conclude that on the territory of the immense steppe, a single world view and continuity have been formed for many hundreds of centuries.
Тарихи сабақтастық бұл жерде тек қана сақтар дәуірі ғана емес, сақтардан бұрынғы.
Historical continuity in this case corresponds not only to the Saka era, it began earlier from the Bronze period, and this development was not interrupted. For example, in Eurasia, the Kazakh steppe has always been considered as a large corridor, and despite the fact that there were many migrations along this corridor, the main population remained here. That is, everyone who lived here did not leave and settled here. Here is a theory. All this is confirmed by later found materials. The bank of the Taldi River has become a real gold mine of history. In 2010, researchers announced the discovery of the fourth golden man in Kazakhstan. And in 2016, another amazing monument was discovered that has a connection with the Saka Mound. Given current administrative divisions, the excavations were carried out at the Karajartas burial ground in the Shed district. As a result, a pyramid-shaped structure was discovered. Its height is 5 meters, the base is 15 by 15 meters. Archaeologists have never seen a mound of this shape before. Scientists attributed it to the Begazi Dandibai culture, characteristic of central Kazakhstan, and dating back to the last period of the Bronze Age. Presumably, the building was erected at least 3,000 years ago. In this regard, it is worth noting that according to some scholars, this architectural style was borrowed from the Kazakh steppe and later appeared in Mesopotamia, Egypt, and America.
Латин Америкасында, Мексикада, онда да
In Mexico, there is a mausoleum in the Chichen Itza area. It is similar to ours and has a similar stepped construction style. Judging by this, the first pyramid appeared in Kazakhstan, then possibly migrated to Egypt, then to Latin America.
пайда болып, Египетке, Латын Америкасына мүмкін барған шығар деп.
The amazing monument named the Saryarka Pyramid was completely restored within a year. As a result, scientists became convinced that people who lived in this region 3,000 years ago were indeed true masters of construction. They possessed progressive method of laying stone, high-quality processing of the material. There's every reason to believe that this direction in architecture appeared exactly here. There are a lot of similar stone pyramids in this region. However, they're all small in shape. Some of them appeared 4,000 years ago. That is, the Saryarka Pyramid is the result of centuries of industry development. In fact, the structure was built in honor of the ruler. Thus, statehood on the Kazakh land existed in ancient times.
Бірінші пирамида, мавзолей.
The first pyramid, the mausoleum, appeared on the Kazakh land. This is, of course, a world sensation, but this must be proved. To do this, our scientists, archaeologists need to make a lot of effort.
Дәлелдеу керек. Ол үшін біздің Қазақстанның археологтары, ғалымдары кірісу керек.
Another amazing thing, the Saryarka pyramid was dug in with the earth. In this regard, the famous archaeologist Igor Kukushkin gives two reasons, two assumptions. The first is deliberate conservation for long-term preservation. The second, in connection with a forced change of place, people deliberately dug in the burial grounds of their leaders. There are assumptions about the deserted ancient cities found on the territory of Kazakhstan. The reason for the dislocations is climate change. Therefore, they had to lead a nomadic lifestyle. That is, in the summer, the population was in the Jailal, and in the winter, in the Kistau.
Қарағандың археологтары қазба жұмыстары уақытында олар бір колба тапқан.
Karaganda archaeologists found a flask during excavations. The flask had signs that looked like letters. If these are actually letters, then we can confidently say that 3,600 years ago writing first appeared on the Kazakh land. This is a sensation that will overshadow even the discovery of the pyramid.
Бірінші рет жазу пайда болды деген сөз. Бұл жаңағы пирамидадан да ары қарай өтіп кеткен сенсация.
Abandoned ancient cities on the territory of the Kazakh steppe, scientifically speaking, are proto-cities. In general, world's first cities are located in this region. Cities such as Akkazan and Kent are cited as evidence. They have a history of 4,000 years. When archaeological excavations were carried out in a Bronze Age settlement, sites with equipped furnaces for the production of an alloy of bronze and copper were discovered. Based on this fact, scientists assumed that these cities stood at the origins of mining and ore metallurgy. Ancient Kent is mainly regarded as a religious center. This assumption is based on the discovery of a stone temple called the Great Wall. Qazaq Palace is located on the bank of the Qazaq River, which flows into the Taldi River. However, some scientists suggest that the Jungars built it. There are many different legends about this, and archaeologists have confirmed this. For example, in 2011, a Lamaist temple of the Buddhist religion was discovered. They concluded that this facility may have been built in the 17th century by Hundulen Ubashi Khan or Ochirtutsetsen Khan, but earlier the local population called this hill Kuz Aulia Mound.
И когда начали археологи раскапывать это место, она, конечно же, был как бы курган.
Archaeologists found that the walls of the building were painted red from the inside and white from the outside. This is the main feature of Buddhist temples. However, now such examples of temples are not found in Tibet.
В том же Тибете именно вот такой конфигурации нету.
On the territory of the architectural monument, there are two temples, a utility building and a residential building. Until today, the preserved height of the temple is about 1.5 to 2 meters. At the top, there is a balcony-like canopy with 6 supports. Judging by all these signs, the building was 2-story cruciform. Local red stones were used in the construction of the complex. The building is painted with a solution of clay and lime inside and outside. The walls are about 75 centimeters thick. Near the palace, there are places with other structures, as well as cemeteries. But they are all like secret boxes, full of secrets and unknown. Until now, only a small part of the temple has been explored.
Қызылкент сарайы салынған уақытында
Qazaq Palace was built of granite, therefore they called it Qazaq, which means a red city or a red palace. During construction, architectural changes related to Buddhism were made.
Будда дініне байланысты архитектурлық өзгерістері бар.
The history development from the distant Stone Age in this region attracted supporters of colonial policy to Karkarali. They paid special attention to it. In 1824, a district was formed here. Then the political struggle began. It was at that time that the Kunanbai Mosque was built. In 1847, a corresponding document with the signature of 16 Volos leaders and the seal of the senior Sultan Kuzbek Taukia Uli was submitted to the higher authority. Tsarist officials approved this request and construction began. However, after a while the construction stopped. Later, an authoritative person was found who was able to continue the work. In 1849, Kunanbai Oskinbai Uli was appointed to the position of the district sultan. Immediately after taking office, he began construction and completed the mosque. That is why it is called the Kunanbai Kaji Mosque. There are records in the state archive that the temple was commissioned in 1851. There is also evidence that Kunanbai Kaji received permission to build a house for imams and a madrasa for teaching children near the mosque.
Бұл кісі мынау Karkaralda.
This man built a mosque in Karkarali. In addition, when he was in Mecca, he built houses for pilgrims there. I was in Mecca on Umrah and made inquiries about how to find the house that Kunanbai Kaji built. It turned out that the place where his house stood is now built up with large city buildings. and of course, we could not find that place.
Қазір үлкен қаланың орны болып кеткен. Әрине біз оны таба алмадық.
The Soviet government, which adhered to the principle that religion is opium for the people, soon hung a large lock on the doors of the Kunanbai Kaji Mosque. In 1924, the authorities intended to destroy the minarets and remove the Muslim crescents from the domes. However, as the old-timers said, they suffered from this attempt. As a result, the Islamic temple was indeed closed until 1941. And then people evacuated from Ukraine, Belarus, and the Transcaucasus were accommodated here. However, many could not stay there for a long time. The building was then used as a warehouse, library, and pioneer home. For whatever needs, the temple was used always. As eyewitnesses said, those in it had discomfort. After gaining independence, the Kunanbai Kaji Mosque was restored.
Мешіттің ұзындығы 15 метр, көлденеңі 10.
The mosque is 15 meters long, 10-12 meters wide, and 6 meters high. It has 2 floors. Of course, the building is very impressive. It gives a great spiritual charge. For us, this building is a historical monument.
Қазір бізге тарихи ескерткіш сияқты.
This mosque is assessed as one of the steps on the path to the genius of great Abai. When it was built, Kunanbai's son was only 5 years old. Then he first came to the land of Karkarali. This is confirmed by the inscription of the tablet on this wooden house. A great poet and educator, Abai Kunanbai Uli, was in the house of Tatar merchant Haliola Bekmetov in 1850. Then he came here several times as a dear guest. In the memoirs of academician Akjan Mashanov, it is said that Abai rested here for some time and wrote his works. Abai's father, Kunanbai Kaji, often came to this house. Haliola Bekmetov was his friend. This man was very decent, honest, and fair. When the Kunanbai Kaji Mosque was under construction, he helped a lot. Karkarali, like his native Shingistau, was very close and dear to Abai. One of the main reasons is that his mother was from these places. Mom Uljan belonged to the Kazakh clan. In addition, his wife Dilda was also a descendant of the famous Kazakh bee, whose small homeland is also Karkarali. The fact that Karkarali was the center of the district and Father Kunanbai Kaji held the position of the senior sultan played a great role. Initially, all this motivated Abai, and of course, such travels were based on an educational idea. Later, Karkarali became the golden cradle of the Alash movement. This is confirmed by the 1905 Karkarali petition.
12.000-ның сыртында қол қойылған хат Ресейге жіберілді. Міне осыдан бастап
A letter with 12,000 signatures was sent to Russia. From that moment on, the liberation movement of the Kazakhs began. One of the victories of the struggle was the election of 6 Kazakhs to the State Duma of Russia.
5-6 депутаттың Госдумаға сайлануы.
The Koyan de Fer played an important role in sending the Karkarali petition. This program document was drafted and signed there. Its history began in May 1848 from the moment the Yalutor merchant Varnava Botov stopped on the slope of the Tokpak Mountains and his trading activities. At first, the fair was called Botov. Later, this place simultaneously became an international trade and cultural center. The fair was organized annually from May 25 to June 25. It played an important role in the development of national crafts and culture and strengthened economic ties with neighboring countries. The fair was held for 82 years. Amrei Kashaubayev, Kali Baijanov, Gabas Aitbayev, Myra Walikizi, Madi Bapiuli, Kalibek Kwanishbayev, and Isa Baizakov became known at this place. These people have become widely recognized among the nation. They all became famous, and such names as Balawan Sholak and Kajimukan gained worldwide fame. The Koyan de Fer can be compared with such world trade and diplomatic route as the Great Silk Road.
Бұл қоянды жәрмекесі сол кезінде
The Koyan de Fer played an important role in terms of unification, political and economic development.
саяси даму жағынан, экономикалық даму жағынан.
The next stop of the Trails of Nomads scientific expedition team is Yertis. The civilization that emerged along this river also has deep roots. We will focus on it in the next episode.